So today I'm sitting here at the What's Next World statue, and it's at the Kellogg Community College. This is a new statue that was dedicated not too long ago, within the last year or two. And it is one of the many great statues that we have here in Battle Creek. So I thought today that I would take some time and go around Battle Creek and show you some of the more important or significant historical markers, monuments, and statues that are around our great city. So this is not by any stretch of the imagination going to be a complete list of all the statues and markers. These are just some of the ones that I'm aware of and I know of. So if you know of others in the community that I should visit, please make a note of that in the comments. But come along with me and Blue on this journey, and let's go see some statues and monuments and markers. So this statue doesn't have a marker on it, so I'm going to put the information on the screen of who it's dedicated to, but it is been a marker. It's been around a while. It was originally moved from another park here in town, and we're about ready to go visit that park. So it's a pretty cool statue. So I'm sitting here at the Veterans Memorial in Battle Creek, and this is probably the most significant monument on this side of town. It's on the western side of Battle Creek. It's its own park, and there are several different monuments in this park that are dedicated to those that have served in the military, those who have died for the country. There's one plaque for World War II veterans and World War I veterans. On the same plaque, all the names are people that lived here or were from Battle Creek that served in those two wars. There's a monument over here for those that received the Purple Heart, which are veterans that were wounded in combat. There's another monument that was dedicated after September 11th for those that have fallen during the September 11th attacks. More of a memorial to the nation. There's a plaque on the other side of this monument behind me for veterans that served in Korean War, Vietnam War, Desert Storm, and Saudi Arabia. And so it's kind of a moving tribute to the soldiers. There's also a Civil War soldier at the top of the monument, and Michigan had the Michigan regulars that were sent to serve for the Union that came out of Battle. Some of the soldiers came out of Battle Creek. Some were actually buried at some of the local cemeteries, which I'll cover in another video. We had some Medal of Honor winners that are buried here in Battle Creek from the Civil War. So that's kind of an interesting topic for another video. But anybody who's served in our military, men, women that came from Battle Creek, are memorialized here, and it's quite a moving monument and a tribute to those that served. So it's one of my favorite ones in town here, but there's several wonderful monuments here in Battle Creek. So let's carry on with our tour. Let's get on to the next one. So this is the monument to the Battle Creek Sanitarium, which is this building over here. What it used to be, now it's a federal building called the Federal Center. But this is where John Harvey Kellogg achieved a lot of great fame with health and nutrition, and his brother W.K. Kellogg later went on to found the Kellogg Cereal Company. So you can read all about that on this plaque. So here was the site of one of the early mills here in Battle Creek, and it was in the 1800s. This is kind of where it was at. Now it's Friendship Park. Here's the marker for the Michigan Central Depot. This used to be a big train station. There used to be train tracks right here. They're long gone. but dedication plaque to the history of the place. It's now Clara's on the River, which is a really popular restaurant. So this is a plaque dedicated to Donald Sherrod. He was a Battle Creek mayor for about 12 years. From 1970 to 1982, he was the first black mayor. He was committed to diversity and economic development for the city. And he is credited with a tremendous amount of the development of the Fort Custer Industrial Park that we know today. So this is the Kellogg house. So Battle Creek was one of the stopping points or endpoints on the Underground Railroad. There's a significant monument here. It's probably the most epic monument in our city, and it's dedicated to the Underground Railroad movement. Just incredible detail in this monument. I mean, they've got everything from the expressions on the faces to the little details about the condition of their shoes being worn from miles and miles of walking, to the indication of hiding in the trees, to the whole covert operation that was associated with the whole thing. Quite amazing, quite beautiful, amazing tribute to the Underground Railroad network and the abolitionist movement that was behind it. So definitely one of the prime monuments to come visit when you're visiting Battle Creek. It is the largest monument of its kind dedicated to the Underground Railroad in the country. So you definitely need to stop and see this when you come. The detail is not going to show fully on this video. You really could stand and study the statue for hours and still see little minute details that you didn't see the first time you came. So it's a beautiful piece of artwork, and it's a magnificent dedication to an incredible chapter in American history. So definitely check it out. This monument is the Fallen Officer Memorial, and it is a project that was done shortly after the death of Laverne Braun. It was a memorial that was dedicated to all the fallen officers that have been in Battle Creek. And he was killed in the line of duty in 2005. I actually had a chance to meet him once. I think it was roughly either it was sometime in 2005 or 2004, because he died shortly after I'd met him. He was quite a remarkable individual. I was actually at an awards ceremony, and they were holding at City Hall, and he was receiving a tremendous amount of awards for valor of the previous year. So it must have been late 2004 that I met him, and I got to shake his hand and see him. And he was well known in the community, and it was kind of a heartbreaking loss for Battle Creek. And so this is a monument to all the fallen officers that have fallen in the line of duty in Battle Creek's history. The statue over there is quite beautiful, and so I just wanted to show you this. To me, this is one of the very special monuments in the downtown Battle Creek area. I helped raise money for this project when it was coming around, so it's kind of special to me. And I just think it's a very beautiful dedication. It's not only the plaques here that you see in the statue, but all the bricks that you see at my feet are people from the community that donated bricks to fund the monument. So it shows you how much warmth and respect the police department have in the community from its residents. Summary of Sojourner Truth's life. She was a woman that was born a slave under the name of Isabella, and as a child she only spoke Dutch. She eventually settled in New York City in 1843 and then changed her name to Sojourner Truth. Relying on her deep religious faith, she was determined to travel the land as an itinerant preacher, speaking the truth and fighting against injustice. She became a prominent figure in several national social reform movements, working for the abolition of slavery, women's rights, temperance, prison reform, and the rights of former slaves. And she came to Battle Creek in 1856 to speak with some Quaker friends, and she moved about a year later, and she spent the remaining years of her life here. She's buried in Oak Hill Cemetery. So it's really hard to say what is your favorite statue in Battle Creek because there are so many amazing monuments here. This has definitely got to be one of the top ones of all time here, next to the Underground Railroad monument. Those are just both very moving, but I feel like of all the monuments, when I stand in front of this one and I read the plaques of this one, there's something very graceful and powerful that goes through you. They captured the grace of this woman as well as the dedication and power and overcoming of obstacles that she accomplished. It's just amazing. So I think it's one of the more special statues, if not the best one in the whole city. So you definitely have to see this when you come. So one of the historical things I read last night about her online was that she was the first former slave to win a suit in court, and she won custody of her son, who had been in New York and had been sold to slavery, I think, in Alabama. And she took the case to court and won in the court system and got custody of her kid back. So that's just one of the many amazing things that she accomplished. She was also speaking publicly at Quaker functions and abolitionist meetings across the United States, from New York all the way to Michigan. She was speaking at a time when women weren't typically allowed to speak in public. Women just didn't do that. You know, this was before the women's suffrage movement and all of that. I mean, she was quite a powerful lady, and she broke through not only the color barriers and the whole stigma of slavery, but being a woman. So she's really probably the embodiment of determination and dedication that you could ever see. So it's really one of the most amazing monuments that you will see. And if you come here to Battle Creek, it is right at the gateway to the city when you come in. So this monument is a tribute to Battle Creek's milling past, and it has a lot of the ironwork and features, little things worked into the stonework from the 1930s. Like there's a millstone right here. See, Battle Creek was a mill town in its earliest days before it became known as a cereal town. On the street at the post statue, and there was so much noise and traffic, and there was a couple of people sitting there, so really wasn't a place where I could talk much about the statue. It is a dedication to C.W. Post from the city of Battle Creek. So this marker is for the Battle Creek Post Office. It was the second Battle Creek Post Office, and it opened in 1907, and it is on the Michigan Registry for Historic Sites. It's another significant marker here in downtown Battle Creek. It's connected with the story behind the Underground Railroad and Battle Creek's role in it. So it's right next to the Kellogg Foundation. So the log schoolhouse is another Michigan registered historic site, and this is a marker for where it once stood. Obviously it no longer stands here. This is back when the pioneers paid $80 for their schoolhouse. And now it's just a parking lot. So basically this monument and fountain is a dedication to the milling history of Battle Creek. And I don't know if the fountain is still turned on every year. It used to be a big feature of downtown, but I haven't been down here recently during the summer to notice if it's been on or not. But it's a beautiful fountain. Hopefully it is still operational. I know they shut it off for the winter, and it's March right now. So talk about the mill race, which was down here in the downtown area. That's obviously none of those mills or buildings are here anymore. But the history goes that when they came to settle Battle Creek, one of the intriguing things about downtown was the proximity of two rivers close to each other at different elevations, so they could carve a channel between the two and have a faster flow of water. And that's what a mill race is. And there were several mills that were built along it, so the whole downtown area, right where the Kellogg Foundation is now, and several of the other buildings were built on the channel of the old mill race, which no longer exists anymore. So there was a canal that they made that was 40 feet wide, and it ran over a little over a mile, is what it says here. So it brought industrial growth to the small community, which later used those resources when the cereal industry took off. So this marker is for the St. Thomas Episcopal Church. And the organization of the parish, I guess it was built around 1848. This is one of the newer historic markers in the downtown area. It's for the St. Philip Roman Catholic Church. And it marks the site of one of the Quaker meeting houses back in the 1880s. So this is the marker at the Willard Library. And the Willard Library was established and opened in 1905. And it was, it has since been expanded upon, and it's kind of a central fixture of the community. The Kimball House is where 3 generations of doctors were the primary doctors in the early days, in the 1800s for Battle Creek. Okay, so that's going to do it for today's tour of historic monuments, markers, and statues in downtown Battle Creek. This video by no means captured all of them. There are several other markers I am aware of that I have not gone to, didn't have time to get to today. And if there are other statues and monuments, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll try to maybe do a follow-up video to this in the near future. But this is a great exercise for me and Blue today to go walk around downtown, travel to the different places. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you liked it, please leave a like, leave us a comment, and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time on our next adventure.